I really like that second comment that you read too about be respected, not necessarily be liked. And that's something I personally have been working on and trying to improve my own like outlook and self. Because I agree with that 100%. It goes out there. We've talked before about be a wolf, be a monster. Doesn't mean be a bad person. It means have the balls to be able to do the right thing, to be able to actually improve people, work on people. Not just other people, ourselves, because you have to have the ability to do good things to actually do good things. Right. If you just sit there and say, oh, I want to be liked.
The balls are ovaries, by the way.
Yes.
Inclusivity.
Right. Yes. No, but
or the non-binary.
But and then I'm also kind of thinking about it, and also kind of plays into it. Really is looking at things. And this is just from my own reflection on myself too. It really is looking at things as short term about, hey, what's going to be the best and nicest thing for now? Because I don't want to hurt their feelings. I'm trying to do something good for them. Okay, maybe it doesn't ruffle feathers now, but is that a long-term thing to do? And we're sitting here talking about like what you need for financing, because you have to have a long-term outlook. You don't need to just extend the debt limit and say, screw the long-term. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to look at things and say, what is going to be the best for everyone long-term? Have that outlook. And I think that's where a lot of it comes from, is just that mindset of what can I do, right? Just looking short-term
because
instead
Nick
of...
said earlier, he said, you got to be crazy.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like you got to be crazy. Somebody has to do it.
You have to be a heretic is better. Heretic's almost like, which means like disruptor. You have to almost be a heretic. And I have been my whole life. Like my parents would tell me what. Like I really have. I do think that some people are born with being able to disrupt, and like some people make a great number 2, some people make a great number 1 of a department. But you have to have the person at the top that I'm not afraid to be canceled. I'm not afraid to be told I'm wrong. I'm not afraid to be told I'm an idiot, because I have a belief in myself and the vision and the belief in all of y'all to provide those pieces to help us get there. You have to be the heretic, right? And you're talking about the respect piece. Well, the other piece of it is you're talking about long-term vision, right? So a lot of people, the hardest part about being a CEO is I'm making a decision for the betterment of the entire organization. Right. And I have to think about each person individually and also make the decision that's best for the entire organization, because that's going to be most beneficial to each person in here, because this organization needs to stay alive, not just for ourselves, but think about the amount of people that we've heard from, 61,000 videos or views on one video, that are hearing information of ours. The commenters, great, but how many people saw it, heard it, and took something from it without us even knowing, right? So this is something that's very important for people. And you have to make that decision. And what I'm getting back to is the long-term decision-making and the long-term vision, and what I'm seeing in that piece of thing that's in my head about what this is going to become. Sometimes you are crazy for the decision you're having to make that's going to be a 20-year decision, right? You might not see that. You might not see that. This person might not. Like when I said we need to start a podcast, we're a media company first. That sounds kind of freaking crazy for a mortgage company to do.
That would day one.
Day one, I said that. Before, long before you were even here. Like when like we.
It was day one before we
had licenses.
Right,
we had the podcast. So
the first few episodes, we had to be very careful about what we were saying, because we couldn't.
Well, in the first few episodes, we were actually called the High Cotton Podcast. So yes. So the High Cotton, Donovan's laughing. So the High Cotton, which is funny, means you've come into money. Yeah. Like that's the saying. And it was actually there's an Amazon show that my wife and I are watching now. It came out in 2014. It's called Bosch. It's about a detective out in Los Angeles, and his partner. So Bosch is a white detective. His partner's a black detective, and the whole reason we changed the name of the High Cotton Podcast is we didn't want it to come off as a race thing, and it was a very hot topic at that time. Well, guess what? The detectives are meeting their detective buddies to go do something in one of the scenes, and the black guy turns to the white guy and says, "Man, new suit, man, High Cotton." meaning you must have come into some money. And so this was the High Cotton podcast. We switched it to the Loan Guys podcast, but I will show you the original video clips. That was before we even decided on Suits, Suits being part of the business. And the reason is because it's the biggest financial transaction of your life. But we were just like, we don't want to come off as offensive to anybody at all. We're going to speak our minds, and you might not like what we speak, but that's why we changed the name, because the whole thing is we're in the Southeast. We wanted to make this was my idea. I wanted to give an ode to the South, because it's being here and having more opportunity changed my life from upstate New York. I would not be the same person in upstate New York.
That's when I realized he was more Southern than I was.
How did you not know what high cotton meant, though, is the crazy piece. So anyways, we changed it. I talked to a bunch of my friends across all spectrums, Joshua B being one of them, and they were like, no, don't think it's racist, but if it could come off as racist, just change the name. So that's what we did. We changed the name. And I agree with them, and I appreciate people who gave me the feedback on that. I actually went looking for the opinions because I care, right?
Right.
So anyways, long story short, big vision. So we knew that this was going to be a big part of our business and prior to the business. And to just let people know, Donovan, I want you to know this. Because of this podcast, you know what this brought us?
Tell me.
Multiple loan officers. Another one that I'm interviewing after this. Multiple properties. So I always talk about building wealth through real estate. Multiple properties because of this.
Nice.
So it is worth it, and the vision's starting to kind of bear fruit. As the YouTube channel grows, it's going to bear even more fruits as the Rumble channel grows. And I do think YouTube, Rumble are the biggest platforms that we need to grow on. And we've talked about this. TikTok I love, but there's a bipartisan push to get rid of TikTok.
Yeah.
So we'll have to log in through a VPN and say we're Germany. Donovan. Yep. So
Really go.
Cool, man. Well, I do appreciate everyone for watching the show. I think that's about it, unless you got another comment that you want us to.
No, we're good.
So I appreciate everybody for watching the show. Donovan, I appreciate you, Ben. Great job at always prepping the show and getting the best reactions out of us. If you tuned in, thank you. But if you didn't tune in, watch us. We're on YouTube. Go find our channel, NBI Financial Group LLC. Bang the red subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Comment in the comment section with your Instagram handle. It can't be just like, hey, great video. Actually comment about what you saw. Leave your Instagram handle, and you will be entered into an opportunity to win $1,000 either in Bitcoin or cash. It's going to be your choice. I would choose Bitcoin because the American dollar is on some shaky ground. Not really, but thank you again. Go follow us on all our social media. You can find me personally at Mortgage Man Nick, and you are
Big Boss Ben.
And you're going to be looking for that to be popping. Donovan's got all the tools he needs now to make the personal go. So let's go. We're out. Peace.